Hello, hello. Excuse me. As usual, I start the stream booklet. So this morning, I am going to be working on plants. I'm surrounded by plants right now. I'm going to be cleaning some of them up, working on some pest control, and excuse me, and um, just doing a little bit of propagation to make some pots look bushier. So let's get going. So I'm starting with the banana here. Banana. Now it looks okay. It has been so it's really cold here. I live in the north, and it is it sits around it's been sitting around minus 20 to minus 40. Um, excuse me. Uh, which is roughly it's a similar range either way for a Fahrenheit and Celsius, but minus 40 is the same in Celsius and in Fahrenheit. Um, Zach, hello, hey, hey. The chat's kind of far away, so sorry if I have to like squint a little to see it. I guess I could have moved the computer closer, but now I have a banana in the way. So first thing I'm gonna do, first thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to be trimming some of these old yellow leaves that are near the bottom. The older ones do yellow and they get all curly, like this one's like coming off on its own. Yeah, it's not a huge deal. I just take some scissors and trim. Just cut it off. There it is. It's cut off. This banana is it is a dwarf Cavendish banana. Why do you have? Huh, I'll have to check that out. Sorry. It's a dwarf Cavendish banana, which means that the banana plant itself will grow. It'll maybe get like 5 feet tall. Excuse me, sorry. It'll maybe get 5 feet tall, but it will grow normal sized bananas. Yeah. Oh, this one's really ready to come off. That old dried leaf. Yeah. Well, I've been leaving it alone because it's winter here, and I just didn't want to I didn't want to be fussing on it too much. But now it's been a while. It's time. So some of the leaves are yellowing from cold. I do have it quite close to a window just because it needs a lot of light because it's a banana. They can actually do okay in low light, and I might going forward leave it farther back in the room and let more light into the room because it was kind of blocking the window. But I think it'll be fine. And now down here, um, can't really see, but here you can see me holding the leaves here. These are this is a baby banana. So how bananas reproduce basically because they don't really have seeds in the fruit very often. I think some varieties do, but the varieties you find in the store do not. They don't have seeds. They've been cloned so many times. They're from like the same plant, thousands of them all from the same plant. So yeah, they shoot out from their roots. Here's the banana tree, and then here's its root. Its root's sticking out over here. And then all of a sudden, it'll grow. It'll grow one little baby from the root. And then, oh, here we go. We have a new one. We have a new one. And they each are connected, but you can separate them and you can have two banana plants. They'll all do the same thing over and over and over and over. They'll do the same thing if you have, good nutrients and whatnot. Excuse me. Sorry again. My best friend, she had her banana outside this year. I got one for her and I got one for me. We like to buy each other plants. It's fun. And we like to, each have one so that, if one doesn't make it, then we have one so we can split it again at some point. That's what we do. You take care of your friends. So as I was saying, um, I got the banana and mine was inside all year. Mine was actually just under lights and in a north window all year. I guess in the summer, it went to my nana's in the summer. Well, it got moved around too. That's another thing. Plants don't like to be moved around a lot from place to place. Like in the house is kind of okay, but if you have very different temperatures or light conditions or humidity in different rooms, the plants will have a noticeable change from room to room. But especially from house to house, they can have a rough go of it trying to adjust. And it's not a huge deal. You might see dieback, and it's okay. Just manage your plant how you would. It'll be all right. Just love your plant until it starts to grow again. You know. So yeah. So the baby does have some pretty yellow leaves. I think I might. Yeah, I'm gonna trim it too. See, just this little leaf compared to the big one. And I am cutting kind of bigger leaves, because it's pretty yellow, as you can see, compared to like, you know. But it so here, see this where my hand is down here? That's a new leaf coming in on the baby right there. And here is one of its older leaves. And then it has another leaf down here that I might also cut off because it's pretty yellow as well. And I will be cleaning. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just cut that off because it's gonna be gone soon. And the big one does also have another leaf that's a bit older that I might cut off because actually it's this one right here. So what I'm thinking, what I'm considering here while I'm looking at it is I'd like to know um, if it has enough green still on it. See the green areas in the middle and down at the bottom. If still has enough green on it to um, to be worth leaving, and I think it actually does. So I am going to leave it. I am going to leave it. Um, I'm going to be giving all these leaves a wipe down because there is a little bit of pest on it. Nothing major. I mean, the thing is, in this house, I have like 250 plants, like 250 in their own separate pots. Some small, like pots are small, whatever, but some big, like the banana. Some and most in between somewhere. So there's gonna be bugs. That's just how it is. That's just how it is. There will be bugs, and that's okay. I actually like bugs. I don't like to kill them, but I do for the plants, obviously, because I have to prioritize the plants. Um, that's just how it is, and I'm very very sorry. But yeah, so now I was gonna get to. Oh, there's a few more little crunchies here on the baby. I haven't trimmed for a while. Just little. I didn't even notice they're so crunchy and small. These little bits. They're down near the. There used to be a spider living on this. Um. Oh, I'm sorry, baby. Got a little bit of weepage on the baby. I'm so sorry. Did I weep? Did I take those too early? You'll be okay. Poor thing. Um. Sorry. I forgot I was talking about. I started worrying about the baby banana. Yes. Oh, pests, maybe? I don't. I'll probably get back to it at some point, I'm sure. So, now, what I use for pests, give that a good mix. Um, I use like a roughly like 10%, 10 to 15% mixture of methyl alcohol and water. And sometimes I put in lavender essential oil, but that's mostly just because I like the smell of it. And also, well, it is good for pest removal too. It is good for pest removal. So now what I do, I put it into a bottle, which I have labeled. If you're going to mix um, chemicals like that, like the more, the caustic chemicals, poisonous chemicals, any dangerous chemicals, you always should label it. Always, 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 always label it. Always, 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 always label it, because you don't want to. Well, first off, you don't want to accidentally mix stuff in afterwards that you have to use that like you might be consuming or something. I don't know, whatever, but just label it. This was a bottle from the dollar store. You can actually still see the price tag is on it. It was $1.50. So, I mean, it's worth it and see, I've labeled it methyl 10%. I'll probably relabel it at some point. It's kind of the percent's rubbed off a little bit. It's still very readable, but I might actually put like a sticker on it at some point. Yeah. Now, what I do is I just spray. You don't have to soak. Just spray. Boop, boop, boop. Boop, 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 boop. Get every leaf. Get every leaf. Now, what this does is it gets into the bugs, and well, it depends on the bug, honestly. For some, it can affect their metabolism. For others, it can affect their exoskeleton, um, like dissolve it or make it weak. You always, this isn't a cure-all. You always have to go over afterwards and wipe them off or pick them off with a toothpick, which I will be doing after I have done this. And also make sure that you're getting under the leaves too. Spit, dip, shoop, shoop. Under the leaves, under the leaves. Any leaves you're keeping, you spray under. Now, also, this also has an added benefit, which I read, and don't quote me because I can't really, I don't know how to prove it. But apparently it can increase uh, photosynthesis ability on like availability on the leaves. But if you spray it or pour it on the roots, it will slow growth. So if I try not to spray it on the roots, but I will spray it like so. There's little nooks and crannies in here, right? Like around the edge of the banana from where you've cut leaves. If you have any kind of plant like I don't know, dracana or any plant that sheds its leaves and leaves like a flaky opening, a lot of tropical plants. You'll want to make sure that you're getting down in those crevasses because it's just, it's just the bugs can get in there and they will set up shop right down in there, especially on this banana. Especially on the banana. Now, and I'm just going to spray some of the stuff around the base of the pot as well, just to cover my bases. I have some things down there to maintain moisture because bananas really like moisture. I mean, this thing has been sitting in water before for days and it's just like, yeah, when the more water it gets, the faster. So this is a new leaf coming up right here. This little sticky right there. I'm holding it. That's a new leaf coming up right there. And it's really funny because sometimes it won't move for a while, and then you'll be like, maybe I should water it, and you'll pour like 2 liters of water into this 12-inch pot, and all of a sudden this just goes woof, and it shoots up. Not that instantly, but it does go quite quickly. Like by the next day, it's like to there or something like that. Um, Admittedly, stuff is probably going to be a bit slower now because we are in the middle of the winter, but we're on the other side of the winter solstice, which means that we have a lot more sun now. I shouldn't say a lot. We have a bit more sun now. I'm in the northern hemisphere, so it's just a little bit. So I noticed things they've been sprouting up a little bit more since pecking up a bit since they got more sun. So I have a lot of stuff in a window and under a big pink plant light. Just there's some things that need a more boost, a lot of the tropical plants, but there's a lot of plants that are happy to just sit in a north window. There's absolutely no direct sun here. None. I don't get any direct sun. It starts like, I know you can't see what I'm doing, but the window is right there. The window is like directly to my right. And the sun starts like over there, like just out of range of my window when in the morning and sets just out of range. And that's in the summer. It's winter right now, so the sun's like way over there rising. So, but that's okay. We get along. We get along. We survive. But yeah. So what I'm doing now is I've taken paper towel, just plain old paper towel. Oh, I just got myself in the eyeball. For anyone who's watched before, you'll know that I have terrible luck with getting myself in eyeball. I talked about my cut eyeballs. I just got myself in the eyeball with the paper towel. It's fine. It's fine. Just some fibers in my cornea. Phew. So what I'm doing with the paper towel is I am wiping the leaf. I am trying to get as into the crevasses as I can. Sorry, I just really like saying crevasses. um, and I am wiping the big leaves. Be gentle because you can rip these leaves pretty easily. And when you get into the really fine leaves, um, oh, it's kind of stressful. I wind up deleafing my plants quite handily. I am not very dexterous, let's say. I am a little rough with stuff. I can't have any delicate plants that require any touching. I cannot. But that actually leaves a lot. As I said, I have about 250 plants. For different species, I probably have 150, I want to say. I want to say. And then the rest are like cuttings and um, or just double plants or whatever, or things that sprouted. All right, so now this also has the added benefit of washing your leaves, which you should be doing. Um, when you have indoor plants, they get really dusty. It just settles on them. There's no wind or rain to wash them off, and just spraying them can actually make it worse because then they're wet and sticky, and the dust has somewhere else to settle, so it can get even worse. So you should be washing your plants semi-regularly, or at least trying to give them a little dust off. With paper towel, you can even do it a little dry and just whatever you want. Or you can use also, some people like to mix a little soap and water together, just a little dish soap, like Dawn or something like that. So yeah, so that leaf has been wiped of any insects or anything else. It's clean. Yeah, it's yellowing here. So this leaf is how far down? Yeah, it's kind of neat. So here, this one's super green. That is the newest, right? That was the one that was just before the one that's coming out now. So it's quite green. And then this one is the next one, and it's got some yellowing on it. And now the reason for the yellowing, as I said, it's right beside a window. So it has been getting quite cold, and it's fine. I don't really. It's gonna be warming up here soon, and it's made it this far, so we're gonna just move it back a little bit for the rest of the season, and then we should be good. And then it will be going on the patio, the balcony this coming spring. Now the banana can go outside in almost any zone in the summer or spring if you don't have terribly cold springs. It can handle cooler temps. Not it. Don't put it out when it's freezing. Don't put it out when the nights are still freezing. And you'll want to harden it a bit. You'll want to take it outside and just give it a few hours at a time for like a couple days in the sun. Maybe not even a few hours. Sorry, not in the sun. Put it in the shade first. Put it in the shade first for a couple hours. Um, and then try sun. If it's a plant that likes sun, then try sun for the remainder. Um, yeah, but yeah, start with like an indirect sun or shade area when you're bringing your plants outside at the beginning of the year. Otherwise, you can have quite the sad time, you know. Your plants will be like, ouch, it hot, it burn, my leaves, they burn. I am bad for putting my plants out and just like being like, figure it out. But I don't lead by example. Many of my plants have made it quite fine. Yeah. So in the summertime, this will be like last year it had big leaves, and like the leaves were, well, they were bigger than the new leaves are that are coming in now, just because it's like, I mean, they haven't been getting the sun that they need and whatever. And that's okay. That's just how it is. That's winter time. That's winter time. It's fine. We don't expect the plants to grow much in the winter. The fact that it kept pumping out new leaves is like, way to go, buddy. So I did keep. I've fed a few. well, I fed once in December, and I think I fed once in November or twice in November. See, when you're on a feeding schedule, or when you like want to fertilize your plants or whatever, your indoor plants, you don't want to be fertilizing them when they're not growing a lot, which sounds contradictory. And it can depend too. It can depend, honestly. Sometimes they're not growing a lot because they need fertilizer. Sometimes they're not growing a lot because they're dormant and they need to rest. At that point, that's the point that they don't need fertilizer. Um, and so it's to figure it out, take into account what's happening around them, what the temperature is around them, what the light is like around them, humidity, things like that, and that should help you figure out if you need to fertilize or not. If they have, if basically if all their other needs are met and they're not growing, then you need to fertilize. But if their other needs are not met, then they're probably resting or they need more light or some such. I mean, I know it's really confusing, right? You just go, you have to gain experience. I have been learning about plants my whole life, my entire life, and I still feel like a beginner, you know. I even learned about plants in university and I still feel like a beginner. There's so many plants to learn about. That's the thing. That's the thing. There's so many, and I've really expanded. I didn't. I had in university I had a focus on crops, but in the real world, where I do not have a farm, I have a focus on house plants. So, oh, and about the methyl, you can also use isopropyl alcohol. So, like rubbing alcohol kind of stuff, you know? Like just and yeah, you can literally just I've used it. I got mine from the dollar store. Um Feeling a little squishy, my guy. Do you need water? You might need some water. How heavy is your pot? Yes. That's another thing. Learn how heavy the pots are. Learn how heavy your plant's pot is when it's empty. Learn how heavy it is when it's full of water. You want to know eventually you can kind of know by feel when you need to be watering your plants. Hey, oh, you little bugger. Sometimes you need to go along afterwards and just make sure that all those little buggies are gone. So I just found a scale on him, on the banana, which is it's like a little teeny weeny. It's very teeny weeny, like just a couple millimeters big, or less. But it is a very annoying little bug that looks armored. It's like a little. It looks like a little brown bump on your plant. Is what it will look like. It'll look like a little brown bump. They don't really move um, or anything. So if you see those, I just squish them in the middle with my fingernail. Oh, they breathe like buggers. Yes, yes, they do. Okay, so oh, there's another one. Look at you. They're all running from the crevasses because I've sprayed alcohol in at them. Drown. No, I shouldn't be mean about it. Honestly, they're just living their lives. I have nothing personal against them. If they're outside, or like in the wild, whatever, I would definitely be leaving them alone. I like bugs, as I said before. I like insects. I like arachnids. I like pretty much everything except for fucking koalas. And pandas. Koalas and pandas. I do not like them. I'm not going to explain why. I'm not going to get into it. But no. All right. So I'm going to now that I've wiped it, I am going to spray one more time, just as I said, because there's like a lot of crevasses in the banana. And I just want to make sure that these bugs really know that I mean business. Um, so I'm just gonna go blah, 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 and we're good. Now, one caution: if you have pets, please make sure that you've either wiped the leaves off, or you waited till they've dried, before you leave the pets alone with them. If you have pets that like to lick leaves or anything like that, or if the yeah, so just put it up or something, or yeah, because they shouldn't. The alcohol will be very hard on their little livers. Yeah, especially if you do it like I do with essential oils, because cats can't. What the heck? Oh, I think that's. Ew. What heck? What did I just find? There's like something along the stem, and I don't know what it is. I can't tell if it's just like weird dust or like it doesn't. It was kind of like a little bit gooey, but not no form to it. Weird. Let me check the rest. It might have just been like how the water droplets were. Yeah, like it's like I don't know. Huh. No, I don't know. Maybe it's nothing. It just seemed gooey. Yeah, like is that it there or is that? I think it's just a little bit of like dust, dust and the alcohol mixed together, like right in the. It's fine. It's fine. We're good. All right, so I need to move the banana, and then I need to water it. And now for the banana, I have it in a 12-inch pot, and I water like 2 liters of like a whole like jug, like a whole iced tea jug of water in there. You know, big one. It's a thirsty plant. It's a thirsty plant, and it is feeling a bit spongy. So I'm gonna say it needs some water. How baby feeling? Baby a little more firm, but baby probably getting the last of the water. All right. So I have to move this. I have to take this off to move it because otherwise I'm gonna catch my cord. So 1 second, please. right. Thank you for waiting. Just have to put the banana back. And I actually wound up putting it, as I said, I put it back from the window a bit just to keep it safe. Okay. Now I have here 3 pots of cactuses, baby cactuses. I grew these from seed. They had kind of a rough start, but they're doing fine. They've been growing for a while. Here, I'll kind of sow. They're short, as you can see. They've been putting down root for a while now. So, and also with the cold in that room, they've been growing a bit slower. But they're happy. They're very spiky. They're so spiky. Can you see how spiky they are? I don't know if you can. They're just the spikiest little cactuses. So for these, now they also have a few bugs on them. Nothing major. I mean, as I said, it happens. It's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. So yeah. Now for these, obviously, I can't wipe them. The cloth would tear, my fingers would hurt. It would not be fun. I would not have a good time. So for these, I use the same spray. I use it lightly with cactuses and succulents because they don't really like to be wet and I can't wipe them off, as I said. So light spraying, nothing deadly. Just kind of look for the bugs and give a spritz in that general area. Obviously, with this small of a cactus, it's hard to quite pinpoint like that. But so what I do, spritz general area, um, toothpicks. Toothpicks are your friends. They are small enough to get in pretty much any crevasse. Yes, I'm going to say it forever like that. You can't stop me. So, and then the third plant here, I have like 6 or 7 pots like this. And I have to do them all, but I figured I would just bring in a few for this time. And then here I have a very unhappy uh, string of dolphins. It is very unhappy. It had a rough start. It came from um, it came from like the South States. Um, yeah, it had a rough go. It came up and it was very dry. It was almost like it was just like some little sticks. And I managed to get it to come back a bit. It was just because it was a long journey and the mail was really slow at the time. It had absolutely nothing to do with the seller. It was literally just because like, I mean, I ordered from somewhere really far away and whatever. And that's okay. And for this one, again, you can't really wipe it. So I am just going to be spraying because it has here, I can kind of show you. It's not terrible, might be a little terrible, but it's got like some of these like white fuzzies. See right there? Those are mealy bugs. I just realized I've never said it out loud. I think it's mealy bugs. So yeah, and for this one, it's okay. It'll live through the spraying, through heavy spraying, especially since there does seem to be a lot. So now what I'm gonna do, I've sprayed. I've gone spray, 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 and now I'm going. My cat's walking on my paper towel. Okay, there she's done. Cats, perfect timing, every timing. Oh no, are you in the here? I can move those. There you go. You can walk through. I did not have an open path for her. I mean, she never walks this way. There was no path in the beginning, but I didn't think that far ahead. Gosh. So now that I have sprayed, just gonna start poking and scraping and basically trying to decimate and remove these nasty little buggers. It might take a bit, but that's okay. It's worth it for your plant, right? Yeah, it's okay. I mean, so ideally what I would do is I would repot and clean soil. But this plant doesn't like to be terribly fussed with about the roots. They are, once they get in there, they just kind of want to stay, and I don't want to stress it out anymore. So I'm just going to clean them off, and this will probably slow its growth a bit because I am spraying the soil quite heavily, and as I mentioned before, the spray can slow growth when sprayed on the roots. It's not a big deal. It'll wash through eventually. It's worth it to deal with the bugs. And we'll see how this plant's doing in a few weeks. I might have to do this a few times, which is okay. Again, this is a string of dolphins. Yeah, I neglected it a little, but it's whatever. I mean, that's the thing, plants are very forgiving if you get to them in time. Now, in time varies between plant. In time can mean the second a bug lands on it. Some plants are so picky. In time can mean as long as there's still a workable root system. So, yeah. In this case, we have definitely enough to come back from. Definitely, definitely. I'm probably gonna take some of the top layer of soil off just because they got really close to the soil in this case on the bottom. Um, so I'm just removing and then I'm gonna spray again so that they get that whammy. And I might actually even put some cinnamon on here. I will be using true cinnamon. It's got antimicrobial properties. My gosh, gross little things. Yeah, so basically these bugs, they just sort of make like a white web ball is the best way I can describe it. It's gross. Kind of looks a little webby, a little bit, a little furry. And it's just like little white globs. Like not perfect balls, but globs of white. And it can be kind of stringy, like if you're pulling it, it might pull, like it might have like strings that come along. Um, and the bugs themselves are they're white, round, plump. They're plump. So yes, I am wanting, because I'm wanting to disturb the soil so little, um, I do have to be pretty diligent here. Have to make sure. So you have to really get in there. You have to be looking and looking and looking. Get a magnifying glass if you need to. You know, it's worth it if you have a lot of plants and you need to be able to see. And so, yeah, some people mistake though the this white globular stuff for vermiculite or vice versa. I've read horror stories of people who picked all the vermiculite out of their soil because they thought it was bug eggs. And vermiculite is just a hard white. You can crush it between your fingers, but it's just a type of stone. I want to say it's a limestone, but don't quote me. I don't know that much about stones and things beyond what I put in my. But yeah. So vermiculite, you will find it in almost all my pots. Vermiculite or perlite. It keeps the soil porous, which is good for drainage, which is good to keep so you don't get root rot, so you don't have really moist soil sitting around your roots all the time. The the vermiculite or the perlite will they're pretty much the same. Will act like a ugh. Oh no, it's just white. Well, it'll make the soil porous, which means that it has a lot of breathing room. It can drain liquids quickly. The more vermiculite you add, the quicker you will see drainage from your pots. So for succulents, it depends on the succulent. Some succulents don't want a lot of moisture. I need another piece of paper towel. Some succulents don't want a lot of moisture, and some succulents like more moisture. So you have to really know your succulent, or, can be a really good guesser. Doing another spray. Just, oh. So now the thing is, these bugs, like they can hide very well. So you have to look in every little area that you can, because they'll get into little cracks that you don't notice, and they'll set up shop there. And then suddenly you go look at your beautiful plant and it's got 50 globular white gross things everywhere. And you're like, what happened to you, my beautiful plant? Gasp, gasp. So yeah, you have to learn your plant, basically. Because every plant is different too. I mean, some will surprise you. It also depends heavily on what you're working with in your home, like how humid is your home, what is the temperature, what is the light like. So there's just a lot of factors. I have an itch under my leg. Ouch. A lot of factors to consider with plant ownership. And I mean, in the end, you can just grab a plant, put it in a pot. Oh no, I'm squeezing that. Ah. I just got alcohol over myself. You can take a plant, put it in a pot, put it in a room, and see what it does. That is the beauty of plants. And if it declines, then you can just take it out and put it somewhere else and see what happens. You know, with a lot, if you get like a forgiving plant, you could probably have it in almost any condition. There's some plants that are fine just under like like office light style situations where they don't have windows or anything. There's some plants that do fine there. And some wither away to nothing in such conditions. Okay, so, oh my gosh. Yeah, see, like, they're just like, once they get in there, they can, not only can they hide, but they wind up going everywhere, and you're like, you think you got them all, but you don't. You've never got them all. Nasty. Nasty millies. Scrape, 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 pick, picky, picky, pick, wipey, wipey, wipe. Ah, yeah. See another one. So, yeah. They're never over. Also, you should always try not to share tools between plants. Okay, well that I'm just gonna take off because that's almost dead. Yeah, you should never share tools between plants because that's one way that some will transfer. Yeah. Okay, this time I think I got them. I'm sure I didn't. I'm sure there's like 100 just staring me right in the face right now, like laughing at me. Sucker! Missed us! That's okay because I'm coming back. I'm gonna come back next week and check you again until I'm sure they're done. Okay. Okay, so for now, this one is done. I'm going to set it. I'm going to set it over here by itself. And I'm setting it in front of a fan because it is a succulent and I would like the liquid on it to dry quicker. And I'm also going to give my hands just a little. So this isn't good for your skin. I'm not recommending that anyone do this. It's not, you should actually be wearing gloves while using it. I have like rhinoceros skin. I have been blasted in the face with like um fertilizer, everything, right? Like, and I'm not talking about in plant like house plants. I mean, I have worked on farms and I have taken full chem blast to face many times, bare skin, no mask. I, I'm fine with it. I'm okay with it. It doesn't do anything to me. I've never had anything happen. A few minutes of like, because it tastes bad, done. But don't follow my example. Just use your gloves. I also don't like, so that I guess I should also say I don't like gloves. They make me very uncomfortable. I don't like to use gloves. So I am not going to. All right. Now, these guys aren't too bad. New tool. Okay. So like I'm going to give each one a little spritz. I don't want to get too much in there. I'll let that sit. Oh, there's one right there. Now, I don't know. I'm trying to find like a good bug that you can see, like a big one. There aren't actually that many on this one. There's just like some tiny ones. There's a little cluster in right in here. I don't know if it's visible, but there's a little cluster in there of bugs. They haven't started making their gross little webs yet. At this point, they are just bugs. So, because I can't wipe or really get my fingers in there, I will be stabbing each one. I know, awful. With my toothpick. Now, be careful not to stab too hard. You don't want to be poking holes into your cactus. So, and if you can get the bodies out, do so. Just in case there's eggs. Oh, get out of there. Just in case there's eggs. Now, at some point, I'm going to be separating these little cactuses. I don't have places to put them at this point. I need pots, is what I need. I need pots and I need sun. Um, yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe more lights for the plant room would be good. Like more lights and a couple more shelves. But the lights are fairly expensive. The ones I've gotten so far have been gifts. I have two big big grow lights, like big ones. Now, these bugs do vary in size by quite a lot, anywhere from like 1 to 1.5 milliliters, millimeters to, oh, there, I got a big one. I pulled them out. Can you see the end of my, I don't know if you can see it. There's a big, huge one, big juicy boy. Ooh. And I'm just carefully going along the edges, or like in the cracks of the cactus, You know how they all have like little lines and things. I'm just going up those and around the spikies, because right around the spikies, it's very fuzzy. It almost looks exactly like mealybug stuff around the spikes. It's like it's on every cactus. That's just what it looks like where they're oh my, it's a big one. Where they're oh my gosh, cactus spikes. That's not the right word. Spines. Jeez. Sorry. That's where their spines just come out, and it's just the way it is, honestly. They just have little white fuzzy spine areas. The thing is, though, that these mealybugs can hide really easily in those spiny areas where that white fuzziness is. So, some of them are goofy enough to put it right beside so I can see it. You goobers and goofy goobers. Now, this might seem like I'm taking a while, but it's just because there's so many little crevasses to check. And I'm not just relying on my sight, I'm also scraping through them just to make sure that I get everything, because these things can hide so very well. And because they can be so tiny, oh, I didn't finish saying how small they could get. Right, so they can be like anywhere from 1 to 1.5 millimeters long to like point 0.1, like you need to be able to get them out of there. Now, and the alcohol, um, I can't remember if this is one of the bugs where it messes up their exoskeleton or their digestion, but they won't have a good time. Any that are left won't have a good time after that. I'll probably give one more spray to each cactus. I don't like to really spray these little ones just because their roots are like right there, so it feels like I'm probably gonna stunt growth. But it's just what you have to do. You gotta deal. You gotta deal with the bogs, the Borgs. We will not be assimilated, Borgs. Mm, yeah, yeah. Cactuses have so many little areas to them. It does make pest removal a little harder. That's why I'm only doing 3 of the pots of these today, because that's already going to take long enough, right? And I have other plants to get to. I'm sure you guys don't want to watch me poke at cactuses for 3 hours. Yeah, this one's almost done. There's just a couple little. And I'm also pulling off any like little white things that, they aren't necessarily bugs, but I can't know for sure unless I get rid of them. So if it looks like I'm wiping a lot of things off, it's just There's just like other things like dust and chunks of the perlite or vermiculite, whichever I used. I don't remember. Hey, my cats are fighting right beside me. Hey, 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 Digit, stop it. Now look, the cat, here comes the dog. Hey, Digit, don't bite her. Okay, 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 we can calm down. Don't bark at me. Well, just stop Digit. All right, that's good. And I'm gonna do boop, 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 just 3 this time. So 1 pot down. I'll put it over here again in front of the fan. So we get a little bit of dryage. Okay, now on this group, I see just one spot of their nesty stuff. Okay. So, oh, right. Almost going against what I tell people to do. Change up. I don't really touch. Yeah, they're fine. New tools. Okay. Now, where did I see that? Right there. Get rid of. Ew. So, yeah, as I was saying, I like bugs. I do. Especially, well, spiders aren't really bugs, but I like spiders a lot. I mean, my preferred method of getting rid of pests is biological. I would rather just like release a bunch of ladybugs and spiders into the plant room. Unfortunately, I can't really do that. So, but one day I will have my own house and I can release as many bugs inside of it as I want. Yes, I can. This one isn't too bad. That other one was definitely worse. There's only a few popping around here. That's good. If I had $1 million, if I had $1 million, I'd release spiders in my house, right inside of my house. Okay, okay, okay. This one was much easier. They're probably just hiding better. That's all right. One more spray because it's still pretty wet. And I'm putting you down with the rest of the fans. I don't have any plants on the other side of them, so there's no way there's nothing to blow bugs onto. Oh my, this one's a little bit gross. You might be able to actually even see. So there's 2 that have. Take a look around and see if you can see any. How do I angle it? There. Don't know if it can actually see anything, but you can try. Right. Even though there wasn't many, we still switch our tools. I know it seems wasteful. I know. I know. One day I'll have compost too. This won't be so bad. I can put whatever I want in it. All right. Sorry, guys. This one is getting doused because there's a lot of blah. Don't you love my technical terms? I am very good at technical terms. Ow! Oh, I rested my thumb on a cactus and I deserved what I got.
Sorry, I'll move that. So if you're just joining in, I am working on pests removal from cactus. I am using a mixture of methyl alcohol, a 10% concentration methyl alcohol, and water. And I'm simply spraying and then using a toothpick because I cannot wipe cactuses. These ones are just little, they're baby cactuses. I started them from seed. Um, so this might slow their growth a little, which is, it is what it is. Just because if it hits the roots, it can decrease growth of the plant, but it does increase photosynthesis on the plant. So if it doesn't get to the roots, then it's fine. I don't know if it will or not. I'm doing this. Ugh. Get off, get off, get off. Oh no. Ugh. Ugh. Stuck on the spine. There, got it. Gross. All right. Keep going. If I had $1,000,000, I don't know what I'd do. Same thing I'm doing now, but with more plants. There we go. Stabbing, stabbing. I mean, the first few times you do this, you might feel bad unless you're just used to like pest control and stuff. Even growing up farming, and working on farms, I'm still just like, "Aw, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You're just living your life. You're just trying to exist and breed and eat. You're not trying to be mean or gross. You just are. Sorry. It's just the way it is." But thank you for your visit. Sorry I had to murder you. Goodness. Uh-oh. Just realized that I haven't eaten again. I always forget to eat before streaming. I was just like, gotta get to the stream. Gotta get to the stream. We don't have a lot right now, but we have a grocery order coming. We can't get our car out. It's stuck. Joys of snow. It's pretty hung up somehow. I mean, it was just in its parking space, but yeah, no, it's okay though. We're gonna get some salt and dump it about. We're gonna hope for the best. But yeah, so we have some groceries coming. Um, and my partner couldn't make it to Spongy, which is it's like hockey except they run around with shoes on instead of skates. And the spongy refers to the puck being made of sponge, like a sponge material. And also I think refers to the bottom of the shoes because it's kind of a sponge material. Anyway, um, don't think that that means it's light because it's basically the same as a normal puck. It things pretty freaking hard once it freezes. So, but he couldn't go today. Very sad. But they started off the season, or well, his first game anyway, last week was good. They won both their games. So that was very awesome for them. Okay, so I think I got it. So next week I'm going to work on Ooh, there's some on the table, you nasties. Next week I'm going to work on the other baby cactuses. I don't want to spray them too often just because they are babies. They're just little. They're just little. But I um, do want to treat them in general. So I'll probably stagger them. I'll do the other batch next week, next Saturday, and then I'll do the batch I did already again. Oh, I forgot. There's one little. Do you have any on you? I didn't even see you. Oh my gosh. There's one little succulent in here. One little succulent seed got in here. Um, it's right. See that little tiny. Oh no, the little tiny little bloop blop right there. Beside, it's like trying to get the thing to focus on it. It's just a little. It's a little kind of white head, and it's at the very bottom of the pot, and or like near the bottom of the pot, beside the bottom cactus, and it's just this little funny succulent with a funny little head. And there's another one, um, in another pot too. There's another succulent like that. It's a little bigger though, but it's not in any of the pots that I'm working on today. So, but I can show it next week. So there we go. Okay, so what do I want to do next? You know what? Let's do this one. This is this is in recovery. I'm stating for the record. It's a coffee plant. It's my friend's coffee plant, and it had an infestation. And I took it so that I could help her with it. Oh, I wonder if you can see that. There's one really big sucker on the very top, like right below where the leaf is. Anyway, so it had a little bit of a rough time because of well, I was treating it and it had to be rubbed. It was anyway. So now it's quite a lot better. Oh, I just no, it's fine. Don't drink the methyl. It's not a drinkable alcohol. It is not a drinkable alcohol. Don't ever drink it. It is very poisonous. And I just sprayed some. I think it just sprayed on my cup. It's fine. There wouldn't be enough to hurt anyway. I don't really have anywhere to put my cup that's like not gonna spill. We'll try here. I'm sure the cats will spill it though. Take my life in my hands. So I'm going to take my methyl spray, my 10% methyl spray, with my labeled bottle. Very important. And I'm going to spray the leaves. And I'm going to spray under the leaves. These leaves are a little rough, but everything will be okay. The leaves won't heal or anything, but at some point it'll grow bigger new leaves and they'll be nice. Like there's a lot of growth on this plant right now. I don't know if you can see, but right in right there, see there's little tiny leaves coming in all over. There's leaves like all around, and then there's leaves here, and there's new leaves coming in here. So basically, there's just a ton of new growth popping out of this coffee plant, and it's going to be bushy. The top got a bit stunted, although there's a bunch of new little leaves coming in at the top here. It's going to be interesting to see what kind of shape this coffee plant takes. I need a paper towel. It'll be interesting. Be interesting to see. Yes, yes. So I'm so sorry. Boop. Oh, he squirted. I say you shouldn't take like joy in like death of animals or the death of anything really. Um, Not in a cruel way anyway. There's joy in death. There's definitely joy in death, but not in a cruel way. You shouldn't take joy. But um, I do like popping pimples, and sometimes this has the same feel, and it probably shouldn't because these are living creatures. But I don't know. Sometimes that pop is just like, and it's like, oh, okay, that was kind of cool. I guess it's not the death I'm taking joy in. It's it's the way it happens, or what happens as it's happening. I don't know. That's a question for philosophy. Yeah, just cleaning that right out. This one's pretty easy. There's not a lot of leaves. There's not a lot of. Wait, there's quite a few little folds and things, but they're kind of easy to get to. And the plant itself can take a bit of poking and prodding. And so, yeah, you want to be checking along the stems as well on these plants. Like, just run your fingers up and down. You can use gloves just to see if you can um, take off any bugs that are maybe blending in a little bit that you can't see. Um, it's a little gross at first, especially if you got one that has a lot of bugs on it, because you're just like running your finger along and you're squishing bugs, and it's, you know, but you get used to it. You can wash your hands immediately afterwards if it's too gross. Like, that's what I do. When I'm done, I just run to the bathroom and wash my hands, and all the bug goo is gone. And it's not like poison. Like, you're not gonna get sick or anything because you did this and then washed your hands and then lived your life. So it's just kind of unpleasant. But always make sure that you're doing it with a little bit of awareness that you are taking lives, you know. I mean, I know that it's just little bugs, but I think it's important. And I don't mean that in a terribly negative way, but just be aware of it. Just be aware of it, you know. Okay, now I'm going to wipe the leaves. Now, this one is just little. Coffee plants can grow to be quite big. And this one will eventually. I'm going to be painting a pot for my friend. I have finally had the idea of what I want to do. Well, I kind of been developing for a while, but it's going to be really cool. And it's going to be bigger, so I'm going to be putting that, repotting the coffee plant in the spring, which is a couple months away. Um, but yeah, and then hopefully she'll like it. She'll like what I did with her pot. I'm sure she will. She's a very nice person who, yeah, I'm sure she wouldn't be like, this is a piece of shit, get it away from me. Get out of my house. Never speak to me or my family again. No, pretty sure. Pretty sure she'd just like it. Okay, there. So this one, all cleaned up. I said leaves are a little rough, but it will grow new ones. It's got all the new sprouts coming in now everywhere. So I'll probably feed it. It needs to be watered, so this is a good time to do it. Uh, I will do that after. Put that in the feeding category because there's a few that have some new growth coming in that are going to be wanting a little bit of a boost, I think. So we'll get to that after. Actually, you shouldn't be near the other plants because you might still have bugs. Okay, now I'm going to wipe this table down a little bit just to make sure there's no transference of bug. It's low chance that the bugs would get on it from the table, but it's good to be safe because, I mean, if you check all your boxes, then you won't be kicking yourself later, right? Okay. Oh, that shouldn't have gone that way. So, let me think. Who do I want to check on next? I'm gonna have some coffee. Some of my poison coffee. keel over. Please call 911. Okay, I'm gonna check this one actually. Now, this pot, this pot is not meant to look pretty. I'm gonna just state that for the record. I've been trying to keep some plants going in it, and that's pretty much been its purpose. Now, I'm actually, I know this might seem shocking, I'm going to just chop this off, this whole stem. This is a polka dot plant here, this one in the front. This is a polka dot plant, and it's got a big long stem shooting out here. And now that new growth is starting down here again, I'm just gonna trim that right off, taking the whole thing. Now, if you look, this at one point did flower. I don't know if you can see the old X flowers. They're little purple things. That's what the leaves look like. They're quite pretty. They're spotted, as you can see. I'm going to put this in water, and first I'm going to give it a little wash as well, because it's got a few of the bugs. It's got the bergs. So, yeah, so that polka dot plant is in this part of the pot. There was two. There's one, it's still got its little stem and roots here. If ever it decides it wants to try again, it has a home. It has a home with me. Um, yeah, so this is just I don't know, like a saver pot. I put plants in here if I want to keep them alive in general. So this poor thing, this is a Tradescantia, an inch plant, and it's been slowly like growing little bits at a time, and I keep moving it to different, and then like dry at the end, the bottom will dry up, and then it grows a little bit more, it grows a little more, and I keep moving it from pot to pot just to keep it alive because I haven't put it in it's just its own pot yet, and I don't know why. Because in this time I've put other plants into many pots, so I don't know why I'm so against it. Sorry, I'm just there's something on my avocado I wanna investigate. Oh, I'm caught. Hold on one second. I just need to take this off. It'll literally take me 1 second. It's beside the camera. Sorry, I'm back. There was a shoot on the avocado plant. I just wanted to see where it was coming from. I'll get to that later. That'll probably be one of the end plants. It's just hanging out. It's doing good. Um, anyway, so back to this. So I actually have two Tradescantias in this pot. I have the one that's been suffering for years and years as I drag it from pot to pot for no reason. And then there's this one, the Tradescantia Nanook. Turn the pot. And it is quite pretty. I don't know if you can see those leaves. Um, this one is kind of my mother plant. I trim it and I take its babies and put them in other pots. In the summer, I'll have, because they all have their own little pots, I have a bunch of cuttings of stuff to put into big pots on my patio in the summer. So I've been growing them and selecting them. It'll be really nice. So Tradescantia Nanook can go outside. Um, Obviously not in freezes. Oh no. Okay. Lost a leaf. Obviously not in freezy temperature, but it can go outside as soon as the nights aren't cold anymore. It does like some bright light, I have noticed. Um, I know, like I had it in the living room and it was dying back quite badly. And then I moved it to the plant room and it has done much better. Now, it's a little sticky, the leaves, but I think it's producing that itself. So I'll probably just wash them a little bit. I don't see
Bugs. Sticky leaves can mean bugs, but some plants also just make their leaves sticky like that to attract certain bugs, like to attract bees or other or wasps, or other pollinators. And that's just kind of what they do. I am going to give it a washing though. And then I did see bugs on the polka dot plant pieces that I cut off, so I'll give this one a go through. Its leaves are sticky too, but again, I think it's just doing that because it's not like, I shouldn't say sticky, but there's like a shine on them. And I don't see the actual insects here. So I'll be spraying, but there's nothing for me to remove at this time. And hopefully, if anything is on them, um, this will drive it out. I, yeah, that's it. Give it a little spritz, 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 spritz. Polka dot plants prefer less light. Um, so they actually aren't, these two are not suited to be in the same pot at all. As I said, I've just been like kind of just throwing plants in here to save. Um, they'll get their own pots at some point, and then they'll do better. It was a polka dot plant pot to begin with. There was the two, but then we had this one just didn't make it, and that happens. One made it, one didn't. The one that made it flowered, so I was surprised to find them. I didn't even see the flowers when they were flowering. It was past. I missed them. They blended in really well. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for this one. I just wanted to trim that off. Oh, polka dot plants, when they're growing, like when they get really going, they can grow quite quickly. And every week or 2 weeks, you'll want to be trimming them down, um, so that they bush out. Uh, how far you trim them down is up to you. Depends how much, how long I guess they are, and how well they're holding up. But use your discretion. Don't cut them, you know, down to like the tiniest little thing. I guess if you did that, maybe they'd fill the pot. I doubt it though. But you can experiment. Do what you want with your plants. Oh, right. And I was going to give these a little wiping. Because even with the stickiness that plants produce themselves, you still want to wipe them off because, you know, eventually that can affect how they photosynthesize. It can reduce the chances of them absorbing light properly, especially on variegated varieties like the Nanook, um, because there is a lot of white on it, on the leaves, you know. I shouldn't say white, it's like a white pink. I don't know how well a camera picks that up, but they are quite pink. If you look at the back, you can see the pinkness. Down with the pinkness. Yeah, so, and I'm just wiping, cleaning off the leaves so that they can absorb the sun and the light better. These ones have been pretty much exclusively under the grow light for a little while. And then I moved them to an area that is sort of window and grow light. So I'm going to see how everything does. Okay, here we'll give you, even though you're pretty new, you probably don't need a wiping. But yeah, eventually I'm going to give this guy some pot. So now these leaves are they're fairly delicate, like they're quite soft. So you want to be like, oh, see, I bent that one. You want to be as gentle as you can if you're wiping them. I don't even like to wipe them because I'm so rough. And then these leaves are actually kind of firm. They've almost got a crunchiness to them. Uh, the Nanook leaves, Tradescantia Nanook, which is neat. But then the other Tradescantias, so I have another one here that I actually, I'm here, I'll bring it over. Um, this is another type of Tradescantia, Tradescantia white velvet. And if you look, there's white fuzz on the leaves. Now this one is leggy. Well, I shouldn't say leggy. It's actually doing okay. It's got quite a bit of leaf happening down the stems, but I think I'm going to be trimming it and then putting the stems back in so that it fills out a bit more in the pot. I'm not sure if I want to yet or not. I haven't quite decided though. It's always big decisions, right? I might. Oh, look at there's one little broken piece already. So maybe I should put that in here. We'll have all the little sad Tradescantias together. Yeah, let's do that. So yeah, I might. You know what? I've changed my mind. I'm just going to try and get it to grow out this side more, and then it's going to be all. And I think it will because there is actually new growth down in here. There's like a new little springies right there. Here, if you look, you might be able to see the new growth down there. So this plant is not quite a year old. I think it's done okay. It had a bit of a dieback issue. They do prefer more sun, and I had them in the living room. So in general, Tradescantias, they like light. They like bright indirect light. Is perfect for the Tradescantias. This one I will not, the fuzzy one, I will not be wiping. I will give it a spray. I don't see any bugs on it though, but I will give it a spray for prevention, but I won't be wiping it because of the fuzz. Yeah, and I'll give this one more a little. There we go. So, I try to sketches. Uh, on to the next. Yeah, I've decided I'm not going to do the trimming on this one. I think I just want it to keep growing as it is because it's actually, I thought it was leggy, but now that I look at it, it's actually not bad. It just looks stringy because there's not a lot of things coming down, but there will be. So I think I'm just going to let that one slowly grow. It's going to have its time to just hang out. So I'll put that back over there. This one can go down here. I'll take them back to the plant room at some point. Now, let me see here. Let's do the Amigo. Oh my goodness. I didn't notice my kitty's leg like right there, and I moved the plant, and she just did this cute little like. She's adorable. I love her. I love her. All right, I'm gonna give this one. This is okay. So first off, this is a Peperomia Amigo. So people who might be familiar with peperomias will be familiar with like rounder leaves. This one has, as you can see, more of a pointed leaf. You know, it's not round. So now this one has become a little bit leggy. There's like, over here especially, and a little bit in here. Uh, yeah, it's mainly this one. So I'm probably going to just trim. Yeah, I think I'm just going to trim this one down. And then I'm actually going to take this stem here. I'll cut it off now. Then it's done. Here, I'm going to cut above the node, above one node and below another node. And I'll probably trim. So now the reason I'm doing this, I'm going to trim as close to the node as I can without cutting it off. I just got myself in the eye. It's just flung right into my eye. Why always my eye? Stop. Yeah, so now the node, that's where all the growing power is. I can even cut that a little. It doesn't matter. I'm going to plunk that into a little bit of water, and then hopefully I'll get some roots, and I'll have another Peperomia amigo. This works with many plants. It is a very, very common and easy way to propagate. Oh, look at all the little, isn't that wonderful? Look right in the middle. As I split it, there's more little tiny, here, hold on, I'll point at one.
Right in there. There's little tiny stems coming up already. Little itty bitty ones. There's one right here too. Let me. I don't want to like break it, but my thumb is under it there. Yeah, that'll be all new growth coming in. So it'll keep bushing out. Probably by the end of this summer coming up, probably by the fall of this year, it'll be quite bushy. Um, and I So I'm looking for pests right now. I'm looking for signs of pests, for signs of pests that I have to deal with. So you might see things like dots under the leaves. Can you see? Is that one of the ones? Yeah. So those are most likely caused by a sucking insect. But a lot of the sucking insects, they just come and go. So you can't really like treat for them. They're just there. Oh, there's more. I see more growth. Oh my gosh. Oh, you're so happy. Yes, grow, grow, my lovely, grow. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that just great? Isn't that just great? Yeah. So this one I will put in water. The plant honestly doesn't need any treatment. The leaves are clean. There's no dust on them. Any bug signs are just like bugs that that's just a way bugs that just they don't stay on the plant for long. Oh, what's that? Oh. No, no, we're fine. Although I guess for the photosynthesis, I will give it a I'll go just a light. I don't want it. I just want it on the outer leaves. I don't want it in the soil for this because I'm not pest treating. What are you? There's just like a funny. Gotta remove that one leaf. There's like a funny. It might have just got damaged. Can you see? There's like a little white mark on it in the corner by my finger at the bottom. It might have just been damaged. That's okay. All right, you're good. You can go back. Go back. Now, here we go. We'll do another little one. Oh my God, my kitty's being so cute. She's being so cute. God, she's perfect. You're being so cute, right? She's like got her chin just sort of on a blanket, and she's just looking off in the distance so prettily. So prettily. God, I love her. This one has a damaged leaf, but that's okay. That's okay for what we're doing for our purposes. Once again, I'm just checking for pests. No point in starting a plant with pests on it, right? Nope, that's fine. So you can sit over here beside your mama. Now this is an N-Joy pothos. And as you can see, its leaves are variegated, white and green. Um, it's just it's just a preferred thing. There's like, a few shades of green in here, a few shades of yeah. They're just very beautiful to look at. Some people prefer to have their plants all green. Some people like variegated. Some people like both. I like both. Um, I do love variegated plants. They're interesting to look at. Like there's so many different greens in them, and they're very pretty plants in general, you know? Like, isn't that lovely? So this one has spent a while growing roots, and so I'll probably put it onto a climber at some point. It's growing these little more roots, air roots. Um, At some point, I might be trimming this plant to either make more or to bush it out, but it's a little bit too little at the moment. Like I could, technically I could, but I'd prefer to wait until it has much more growth, much, much, much more growth. So again, I'm just going to check for pests. I'd be a little bit bummed
if I had to do a harsh treatment on this one, because I do like it. I do like it. So at some point I have to do a pest check on I have like 4 tubs of plants that they're all in little pots, and I'm gonna have to go through each and every single one, and that's just gonna be like there's probably 100 pots in them combined, kind of thing, like 20 some in each one. So it's gonna have to be like one week is one tub, one week is the next tub. Um, just I have to go through and check and make sure that they're not pesty. What you got? Are those bugs? Or are they just white things? Just white. Nothing. Nothing too major. I bought the original of this, or like the shoot, from a nice person in my city who was just selling from their home. I was very excited. It was only $5 for the little shoot, and here it is. Here it is, growing. Pothos are pretty easy. They're pretty easy. I'm not going to say that there's beginner plants. There really isn't. There's plants that are maybe a little easier, but there really isn't a beginner plant. You have to learn how to grow plants to grow any plant, is essentially. Um, the beginner plant would be like a fake plant that I don't know, like, yeah. It doesn't matter though, because any plant can be a beginner plant. Any plant. If you begin with the plant, that's a beginner plant. And some people have like super ease with any plant, or with, plants that are super hard even when they're right off the bat. And people are like, "Oh, wow, that must be a beginner plant because it was easy for you." And that's not how it works. People always say spider plants are beginner plants. No. I have such a hard time with spider plants. And there's so many people I know who can grow just they can grow gorgeous alocasias or calatheas or orchids, but spider plants elude them. And yeah, I have 2 spider plants, and they are living. So we're on to the pothos. Here is I want to say golden pothos. Yes, golden pothos. Now this one, let me, if you look, so I'll show, here's some of the new leaves. You can see there's like, they're got some variegation going on. There's some gold. Now, the problem with some of these plants with the variegation is, okay, I have to remove this one anyway, so I'm going to do it and show you. If they have a big enough white patch and like pale patch, and that patch is too near a light or in a sunny window, see how the rest of the leaf is so green still? The white patch burnt because it was right under the grow light for a bit. Um, the white patches are much more sensitive to light, to burn, to anything really. Um, but that's okay because they're pretty. So for this plant, I would like to. Oh my gosh, you got a lot going on here, bud. Well, isn't that fun? Look, there's a whole new plant right here. So one way of propagation, and this was an accident. It often can be, but or I guess not an accident for the plant, an accident for me though. I accidentally have another plant here. I'll show you. So the pothos, one of its stems managed to lay on the soil as it's been growing, and that stem went on to root, and now it has its own nodes, its own everything. It's its own plant. There's a root there and everything. So that's nice. That'll help bush the plant out. What I would like to do, so you'll notice there's a stick here. I've pushed the stick in, and here's my Bugs Bunny. So I like to put toys in my pots, just because, no real reason. Now I would like this pothos to grow upwards. This stick will not be enough for very long, but it will do for now. Now, if you have your pothosi, whatever, growing upwards, they will grow bigger leaves. They will grow bigger, stronger leaves than if they are trailing. But you can do either. It's fine to do either. So I am using clips from the dollar store, just like they're just little hair clips. They're just plastic hair clips. I use them for my orchids. I use them for obviously for my pothos. um, they're pretty and they are useful. So I'm just clipping that to this stake. So the pothos will be more, it'll be upright now instead of trailing, which can save room. Trailing plants are beautiful, upright plants are beautiful. They both have their uses, they both have their places, and they're both welcome in my home. So, here now. I'll uh-oh. Okay. And so this pothos has two long stems coming out, and I'm just going to, I don't want to like snap them or anything, so I'm trying to be a little careful here, but there. Push that in a little more. Okay, so as you can see, there's more shoots coming out, and that's okay. It can be trailing and it can be staked, you know? That's perfectly fine. So it's probably going to have more stuff coming down. This one I might have to repot at some point because it is pretty big, getting pretty big, and it's got lots of shoots coming out. Pothos are just they're pretty happy in most lights, and they don't need a lot of feeding, but they do need feeding. You still need to feed them, but they do pretty well. They do pretty well. If I had to pick a beginner plant, and I don't know. I guess this is me picking a beginner plant. Pothos. Get yourself a pothos. Get yourself a pothos. I have mine in pots that don't drain. There is no drainage in this pot whatsoever. I don't want to like tilt the. See? No drain. Oh, there's a sticker. No drainage. I don't care about drainage, really. The only ones that I do drainage with are like or that I'm a stickler for drainage, which are like succulents and things like that. When it comes to here, let's put poor Bugs Bunny up again. I have a Bugs Bunny in here. I'll show you. I'll bring him out there. But yeah, when it comes to drainage, just the only ones I make sure I put drainage with are the succulents, and even some of them I'm not as sticky about, just because um, I do know how much water to put in and stuff like that. Like that's one of those things you'll feel out as you grow with your plants, but it's not something that just comes naturally. A lot of people who try it will wind up with dead plants if you try to have a non-drainage pot. Just do it when you're ready, when you feel you're ready. And practice. I mean, yeah, just plunk plants that you don't care about into pots and see what happens. There. I think that's nice. I think that's rather nice. I'm not very good about placement. I don't want to bend the things too hard, so I'm not like a pro. I just want to make sure my plants are happy. I will need a bigger stick though, and soon. I'll have to put that up. Put that up a viner. Okay. Um, so here we have, let me just make sure. Yes, the Taniki ficus. Yes, right? You know what? Let me make sure. Oh, what are we saying? Long tour. Yeah. Dong, dong, dong. I don't know exactly what that is saying. Hello, long tour. How are you? If you're still there, hello, hello. I'm just doing plants today. I'm making sure that I've got the name right on this because I don't want to be putting out the wrong. Yeah, Taniki ficus. It might not be how it's pronounced. Maybe it's pronounced Tanique. I don't know. I've never said. I don't talk out loud a lot. I know streaming, you think I would, but I just started streaming. So this one, it's actually three plants in one pot. they all came from the same plant. I split them and then I put them all in the same pot just to get bigger together. At some point, I'll separate them into their own pots, and that will be that. I gave my Nana one, and it's doing really good. I give my Nana and my best friend plants all the time. If you lived close to me, you would be getting plants all the time too. Whoever you are who's listening to this, I I give away plants. I give and I give and I give away plants. Take my plants. Oh, this one got new little baby growth coming in. Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, so you know when you have new growth coming in, because it'll be like a green spike. This one has actually already become partly a leaf. It's furled, and they grow out in a spike and then unfurl into these leaves. And as you can see, yes, these are another type of variegated plant. So here I'll try and. So that's what their leaves look like. Very pretty. And again, prone. So you can see this one's a little bit brown, prone to the burn if they're too close to lights. And sometimes they just burn. Sometimes that's just what happens. So plants can't absorb light in those white areas. It is not useful to the plant. It honestly is not useful. Um, it just looks nice. I am going to clean the leaves on this one because they are a little dusty. They kind of they feel like, when dust is on something, they kind of feel dry and dusty, and they sort of have a little bit of dullness to them. So I'm going to, in this case, because they don't really need a lot more treatment, I'm going to just spray on my paper towel, and then I'm going to wipe. Yeah, these ones don't have any bugs on them. They are quite happy. They've been growing quite slowly. They didn't like moving around. We moved in September, and before that, like we moved all the plants to my Nana's over the month of, like, over the summer basically. And the plants didn't love moving to my Nana's and then also moving to our apartment. Like, they basically moved twice that summer. Um, Sorry, I'm gonna have to move my computer a little closer because I cannot read it. Give me that plant. Come get that plant. Come get that plant. No, honestly, I like to give people plants. It's fun. It's fun. Okay. So yeah, doing like these care days with your plants, you don't. I I'm not very good about doing it, honestly. It takes a lot of time. I tend to just let my plants sort of go as they feel, which isn't always the best thing, but it can be. A lot of plants like to be left alone. But it is good to spend a little bit of time with them now and then if you can, and just wipe them and um, check them for the bugs, all that. And don't panic. If you find bugs, do not panic. Bugs are just a part of plant ownership. You don't have to worry. Even if your plant is being negatively affected by it, even if you're noticing damage, just remove the bugs. Just remove the bugs. You need to be further in the dirt. You don't stand up very well. That one needs to be repotted. It's like pushing itself out of the dirt. But yeah, don't panic. If you see bugs on your plants, if you see damage on your plants, just remove the bugs. You don't even have to use the special alcohol spray. You can literally just take a toothpick or your fingers or whatever you want to use and remove the bugs. That's it. Some are very small. Yes, some are very, 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 very tiny, and you have to. You're gonna have to remove them a few times because there's gonna be some that are hiding. That's just a matter of fact. There's gonna be some that are hiding, and you're gonna have to remove them a number of times. But it's all right. They'll eventually you will get a hold of them. hmm But just make sure you're checking your plants. That's the biggest thing. The best thing you can do for your plants is be checking them as much as you can, as much as you can remember to. Just as you're walking by, take a look. And if you see a bug, deal with it. Just even if you see one, deal with it. And I do not condone killing bugs for no reason. But when the bugs are inside, it's kind of a different story. Unless it's spiders, please leave the spiders alone. Unless they're dangerous spiders, then I understand. But you know what I mean. Y'all know what I mean. I'm gonna have a sip of coffee. And I'm going to check this one. So this is a purple heart. Now, that name is applied to a lot of different plants, and I'm trying to think of what else this could be called. I don't remember the scientific name. This is one that my Nana gave me. And it looks a little straggly right now. When she gave it to me, it was so pretty. It was quite more bushed out, but then I repotted it and it just snapped. It was sad, but it happens. And they do grow back. Like they're very hardy plants. These are a very hardy plant. You just plunk them in soil and like this, there was nothing. There was literally one stick like this coming out of here, and it's now, and that was a few months ago. It also has flowered. I don't know if you can see that. Beautiful, cute little flowers. Um, oh, here, put them. There you go. I'm sorry, I'm too shaky. But yeah, and the leaves are quite pretty. I mean, the leaves themselves look like flowers. And when it fills out, it gets quite lovely. Just, and they all have sort of hang and hang out. This is another one I have in, there's no drainage in this pot. It's a stump pot. Looks like a stump. I got it from the dollar store. That's where I get almost all my plant stuff. Dollar store. Because I'm poor. That's it. This one doesn't need any work. I wouldn't spray this unless it had bugs. It doesn't really need to be washed or anything. Um, yeah, it does pretty good on its own. My Nana's doesn't get any bugs either. It's pretty cool. I don't know if they have like a resistance naturally or something like that, but I personally have never seen bugs on this plant or the similar plants. So, yes. All right. Now, I guess. Okay. I'm gonna work on the plumeria. It's kind of tall, so I gotta figure out if the camera's gonna catch it. Give me 1 second. It's not like tall, tall. It's just like awkwardly tall out of its pot. It's actually in front of the camera right now. It's just here. Okay. So I think I'm gonna have to raise the camera. Here we go. Okay. So this one has some pests on it and some white on the leaves. It's a rainbow plumeria, and I was mostly leaving it alone because they're supposed to go dormant in the winter. And it did, but it only went dormant for like a month, not even maybe. And when they go dormant, they usually like lose their leaves, and then they just become like a stick. So when when I got this one, it was it was just like it was the stick. I got it last summer, last the end of last summer I think, and it was just this stick and then like a few leaves coming off the stick, like a normal, like it was just how it was. Um, and then it lost its leaves for winter, and I was like, okay, that's fine. And then like all of a sudden, and it wasn't even the winter solstice yet. Like the we were still losing light. All of a sudden, it just burst with all these new stems. Like this thing is going to be prolific. I'm not too worried about spraying it heavily. It's a plant that likes humidity, likes moisture, so um, I am not too worried. But yeah, And also just for fun fact, this plant has not been in front of a window, except like, well, so it's only been it has sorry, it's never been in like direct sun. I shouldn't say in front of, it's been in front of a window. It hasn't been in direct sun ever, and it is it's a plant that loves sun. It's a plumeria. It's a plumeria. So I'm very interested to see what happens. Um, I had a plumeria years ago, and I loved it, but it was a gift from my friend, the friend that we do the gifts together. We put where we give each other plants. Um, uh, and my dog, what a time! I was moving. I moved, and I had my plants with me. Obviously, I had them in the van because we had rented a van. Ooh, what are you? Spray. We rented a van, and the plants were in there, and the animals were in there. I didn't have as many plants then. It was significantly less. It was like 20. Um, and my dog decided that he really needed to be right behind me. This leaf is like stuck together, and I'm trying to figure out if it's bugs or if it's just whatever. Um, so yeah, we the dog decided he needed to be right behind me, which was where the plumeria was, and he like crawled over everything, and including the plumeria, and broke it into three, which was fine because two of the pieces survived. Plumeria are good like that. It's just a very weird leaf. Um, but then I had to move in the winter, and I had to it was like a 2-day move, and very many things did not survive of the plants, which was expected. I was by myself and I couldn't really like bring the plants in and out. I have a kind of a bad back of the hotels, and I wasn't going to ask people to help me because that's just rude. Hotel staff doesn't want to carry 30 plants in and out of a hotel room. So a bunch died. A bunch. I shouldn't, yeah, but like surprisingly, quite a few did make it. We had a lot of freeze back, and then I just waited for a long time for a lot of them, like months and months and months, year or more for some, and they came back. They came back, so that was really happy. Yeah. So what I'm doing here, I am wiping any residue on the leaves off. I did see like a couple bugs on here, but nothing that would suggest any kind of issue. There are some sucking marks on the leaves. Some of the leaves are just discolored because that's just how they are. This one has. These leaves are pretty tough. You can give them an okay scrubbing, like, and they'll be okay. Yeah. Yes. So as I was saying, this one just like randomly exploded with life. There is okay. Here now. I'm gonna count. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 stems coming off this. This thing is gonna have 8 shooting off. What am I gonna do with it? Oh my God. That's fine. They don't like to be watered heavily. They are kind of picky about it too. So I have a very, very, very porous soil here. I have um, some pine bark for acidity and also to help keep the soil aerated. There's lots of the vermiculite, perlite in there. Yeah. And then this pot does have drainage. This is one that I have drainage with because I think it's important because they like to drain. So there's some that I don't mess around with. I just drain, put the drainage in. Okay, and I'm gonna give it one more spritz around because, as I said, it likes moisture and it likes to absorb sun. Okay, on and on and on. Gonna put this one down here and grab. Oh my goodness, my kitty just said something very important. I don't know what it was, but something. And for this one, I can drop the camera back down again, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay, I think that's good. So, this pot is pretty wild. There's a lot in here. I uh, I decided to just do like an experiment pot, just throw whatever in. And I wouldn't recommend if you have succulents that you really like, do not do this. Okay, do this with stuff that you don't care about. Don't don't experiment with things that you like. I mean, I like everything, but don't experiment with the things that you love. Except now I do love this pot. So, but there's like so many. So there's a here, I'll spin it around so you can see. There's a there's a happy bean plant right in the front here. That is this. Here. See this big long, it's all the way out like that? That's a happy bean plant. It's a type of peperomia, which similar to our amigo, same species or same family. I'm gonna poke myself in the eye with that if I keep it like that. So yeah, so this is. Oh my gosh, I just broke a piece. That's okay. So I've got the peperomia in here, and it has done wonderfully. I've had this pot going for, oh, I don't know, a year and a half or 2 years or something. I think I had it in before COVID. I feel like. Anyway, so that's the peperomia, and then beyond that we have, I don't know what kind of succulent this is. When I bought it, it just said succulent, but I've got a few of those sort of. Okay, I gotta move stuff off this table, or else it's just gonna get knocked off. Yeah, so I got a few succulents in here hanging out, just chilling. And then there is two types of sansevieras. Sansevieras. Don't worry about it. Oh, I'm gonna take that. Yes. So chunks of the succulents are falling off and rooting in here already. I'm just gonna take them out so that they don't. Yeah, that one's got a little baby growing on it already. I don't know if you can see that. They're pretty happy. Um, this one hasn't done as well. Take it out and try a different thing. I have a big thing I throw all my succulent droppings into, a terrarium, just a little. It's like a 10-gallon, full of dirt, and I throw them in there, and they grow, and then I move them to pots. And I've been doing that for quite a while, and it works out really well. It's not like the prettiest thing, but it's neat because there's lots of little babies growing in it. Oh yeah, you come here too. So yeah, this one, it has had a little bit of issue with pests, but nothing unmanageable. The only issue is that it does have a lot of nooks and crannies. So, and this one I do spray with the alcohol. I don't have a problem with it. Oh, except my cat's underneath the table now. I don't really want to spray with my cat down there because I don't want her to get it on her. Why don't you move her, you ask? Because I don't. Because I let my animals, particularly the cats, do whatever they want, and I don't make them do anything ever. And surprisingly enough, I know you're not going to believe me, but they are not spoiled at all. They are extremely nice animals. Like they don't ever bite or get mean or anything. Like they're just like really calm, nice animals who like to meet people once they've settled down. Once new people have showed up and like sat down and stuff, they like to come out and say hello. So yeah, as I was saying, oh, there's new growth here. Like, okay, so I think the reason this pot works is not because they are succulents, and they can be mashed together, which is not actually true. It's because it's a deeper pot. So they have room for their roots to mingle a little bit, but there isn't room for much else, honestly, in here. So that's why I pick stuff out. But so there is. Let me see. Let's do a count here. This is a succulent here. This little skinny thing. It's this funny little. I don't know if you can see it in the camera there, but it's just this little teeny weeny sticky succulent. And I have a few of them in other pots, but I have this one here, and it's quite happy. It's green. It's springy. It's growing more. It's just tiny. So there's one, and then there is all of these, and do they? Let me see. That's one plant. That's two. I think there's I think there's three or four of this particular kind. So it started out with one, but then they just sort of kept falling and rooting. And so now I'm trying to stop them from doing that. It's this kind too. See, they grow roots quite quickly, like a matter of like, a few days once they drop. And then, okay, so what was that? What was that at? One, and then so two species, but six plants altogether, right? Or five, I guess. And then six, seven, eight. I think there's eight plants in here. Eight plants, but one, two, three, four, five species. Eight plants, five species. Yep, just a silly little experiment. Some of these might be a different species, but they look very similar, so I'm not gonna get nitpicky. This one was already floppy when I put it in. I actually put these two snake plants in because they were just kind of like whatever. They weren't looking that great, and I just wanted to. I don't like to get rid of plants. I'm a sucker for them, and so I put them in, and they've done quite nicely. This is a dragon finger Sansevieria, and then this is the yellow and green, the snake plant. Yeah. So this one I'm looking, I like to check it now and then because it has, I said before, it has had issues with pests. I don't see anything on it right now. I am not seeing anything that would concern me. The pests don't seem to bother these plants so much as they just like set up camp on them and then live in them and spread out. But so you still have to like check them. And eventually, of course, oh my gosh, I forgot you were there. I sprayed. Come here. Don't lick it. Don't lick it. Hold on. Good. Good. She's fine. I just had to wipe the alcohol off her. We're okay. We're all okay. Okay, I'm gonna put this back over here. Now, now it's time for the avocado. And I'm gonna have to, one second, I need to set up for the avocado because it's tall. I have to have the camera higher and I have to move some stuff around. So one second, please. Hello. So, this is my avocado. Um, it's about, I don't know, it's over 6 feet tall anyway. At one time, it was over 8 feet tall, if you can believe that. Closer to 10, actually. But unfortunately, during that move I talked about earlier, the poor thing froze back all the way to about, I don't know, 10 inches or so, maybe 8 inches of stem. The entire stem was broken, was dead, like the entire tree, except for the roots and a little bit. And from that little bit, it sprouted two. Yeah, that's what it is. Oh, interesting. It sprouted two um, separate uh, trunks, I guess. They will be one day, from its original trunk. So that's that. It did make it through. It did. And then during this last move, we had an incident where its cover came off in the truck, and all the leaves got whipped off in the wind. Oh, that's a little close to my mouth. All the leaves got whipped off in the wind, and it's been recovering from that. This tree has spent most of its life in recovery. This is another one that I don't mind drenching because it is a tropical tree, and I'll be wiping the leaves too. So, but yeah. So when it first had its first round of life, the leaves were quite impressive. It had leaves as long as my forearm. It was a very nice big tree. And it's a little less impressive now. It's doing its best, and that's what counts. It's doing its best, and that's what counts. So it has had some scales, I've been noticing, and that is why I am going right to wiping, because I know that it has some pests. So they say that an avocado tree takes about 10 years or 13 years? 13 years to get to the point where it can fruit. Um, I suspect this one never will fruit simply because it has had a harsher life. Trim off any go. You know, it's been beat up quite a bit, so I don't think it'll ever fruit. But I do love it, so it gets to stay forever. I don't care if it fruits. I care not. I care not for the product you give me. I care only for your company. That's how it should be. I did plant this. I started this avocado from seed about oh, 4.5 years ago, I guess. No, just 4 years ago. 4 years ago. It was a December, and we just finished December. 4 years ago. So the tree is technically 4 years old, but has had severe dieback in its life. So I don't know. but that's okay. One day, one day we'll be hanging out together in our permanent home, and this tree and I will be like, we had some times, didn't we? It's been in the same pot the whole time too. I never ever upgraded. Um, it was quite a large pot, don't get me wrong. I put it into a large pot to begin with as soon as it had sprouted. Although I put it into no, I probably started it in this. No, I didn't. I bought it after. I started it. I did start it in dirt though. I always start my avocados in dirt, and I have had much success doing that. I'm actually just gonna trim that off. The leaf was a little bit mildewy. Oh, look at you. There you are. You nasty, nasty, nasty bugs. You must go. You must get out of here. Get out of my tree. Yes. But yeah, as I said, don't panic if you find bugs. Just remove them. This tree is not able to stand up on its own. I had the old tree. The old tree's trunk used to be what held it up, but sorry, I'm like ripping your leaves off, your new baby leaves off. So sorry. Um, I used to have it staked to its own trunk, and that worked really well. But then during the move, my partner had to trim the trunk down, so it's not tall enough to hold it anymore. It's still there, but it's not tall enough anymore. It's still holding the bottom though. It's fine. But I'm using a you can see the top of the handle here. I'm using a broom handle, a broomstick to hold it up. It's a very floppy tree. It doesn't have a lot of strength. The old one was quite strong because it spent its summers outside at that point, and it was like it spent its summers through like wind and stuff like that. So that's how the lignin builds in the trees. That's why trees in outside are so stiff and tough and tall because they get blown around by the wind and it toughens up their lignin. So, but the ones inside that doesn't happen, and they wind up a little bit more limp, and we have to stake them at times. It depends on the tree too, of course. But after the freeze, this one just couldn't. The what grew back, it can't support itself anymore. So I'm hoping having it outside for the summer might help. I will be putting it out this summer. Finally, we didn't have a balcony for a long time. I had no outside to put my plants, so it was kind of sad. For a long time, I couldn't do anything outside. So yeah. And just for a reminder, I am using methyl alcohol, a 10% solution. Um, to spray my plants with for both for cleaning leaves and for pest removal, and also to possibly increase photosynthesis. I've been doing this, so I have been doing this method for a very long time, years. This isn't like a new method or anything to me. I'm not like trying anything out here. I know it sounds like a harsh substance to put on your plants, but it isn't. They are fine. They're fine with it. Yeah. So I'm hoping that got some of the scales. I'm gonna go down the stems and things too, just to make sure. Yeah. Oh, snap something there. Get in between there so that, oh my goodness. Yeah, make sure you're getting like in any crack you can think of, because these bugs really they can just hide right in there. I am off screen right now, but I am still here. I'm just cleaning the lower sticks here. There's a new little branch coming in. Very exciting. And like, don't even leave like one bug. Like, get them all because any that you see, I should say, you can't be blamed for leaving a bug if you don't see it, right? But just make sure that you're trying to get as many as you can because like even one can be just full of eggs. Nasty little things. Now I am gonna spray the rocks. I have some rocks in my avocado pot just to hold on to moisture for it. Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess that's about as good as we can hope for. Getting everything I see. And like, yeah, they can be really like elusive too. Like make sure that you're rubbing your some of the scales, they look just like, oh, I'm so sorry, I snapped off your leaf. I'm so sorry. I'm so rough with the plants. Because some of the scales look like they can blend in with the stem. Like you won't even know that they're there until you run your fingers up it and they're covered in ugh. So yeah. Well, one. Yeah, I knew this one had. Oh crap! That was a big batch of new leaves to be snapping off on one. Why am I so rough? I'm so sorry, my baby. I'm trying. Okay, that's that. That's that. That's her. Oh, all right. Now, once again, I need a minute. I'm going to be moving the avocado back into its spot. And then I'm going to, oh, see, look at him seeing them even now. Gross. And then I'm going to be working on another plant. I have to move my camera down again. So 1 second again. Now, this. Oh no. Oh, I have the name right on the tip of my tongue. I've had this one for quite a while. This plant has been really hit or miss with me. But, I think, yeah, I can't remember. Isn't that funny? Name just gone. So this one's leaves are quite delicate. They're very little, quite little. And this one has given me problems for pretty much since I got it a few years ago, with bugs. It almost always has scales on it, no matter how many times I move it to new pots and new dirt and clean it. So that's okay. That's okay though. We still love it. We still love it. Now, okay, I'm going to, yeah, I'm going to trim off some of the branches I think are problem branches. Ugh. Yeah, I mean, I've trimmed this thing all the way back before. I'm not that worried about over trimming. I can't ever remember what it's called. And I do want it to bush out more anyway, so yeah. It's pretty much, yeah, there's a lot of scales on it. And let me see if I can see the little brown spot. No, probably not. They're very little. They're just like brown lumps, little tiny, smooth brown lumps. Um, gonna grab. I don't use paper towel with this one just because the leaves are so small. It's just, I don't know. I always break them when I try to wipe it. So I just like I I try to remove as many bugs as I can with my fingers. Um, and if the branch is really bad, then I just cut it off because I'm gonna wreck it anyway, trying to get them off. But yeah, gonna cut this slow. And if you have a buggy, here I'm gonna grab a paper towel. If you have a plant that's quite buggy, you want to take. If you're dealing with pests, always make sure you're removing as much of the dead leaves as you can. And if you're not dealing with pests, you should still remove them. But it kind of depends on what you got going on with your soil. So I have a lot of soil mites in my soil, and that is a good thing. Soil mites are a sign of healthy soil, and they help to break down a lot of stuff, but they mainly deal with plant matter. So they're not going to like get rid of bugs for you. They're not pest removers there. So I picked out as many leaves as I could. And now just keep. So yeah, for this I'm just running my fingers along the branches and getting as many of the scales as I can. And I have sprayed with the methyl alcohol spray, 10%. So yes. Yeah, this one is, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this plant. It's never exactly like wowed me or anything, but whatever, you know.
It would be nice if it would stop getting so many scales. So this one I'll probably have to treat again next week because they're gonna be all over still. Obviously, I keep this one separated. Gotta keep them separated. Down, 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 down. Yeah, I'm gonna call this one good enough. And I'm going to move it over here. And I'm going to wipe my table. And also this. So I think I have to lower this again, just to show what I'm. Okay, good enough. Beep. Just gonna wash the scissors a bit. I have a few more plants to go over for today, and then I'll be shutting down stream and getting ready for Pokemon. So anyone who is here waiting for that, that is what I'll be hitting up this evening. Okay, there, cleaned off the table a little bit. Now, the plants I'm bringing up now, I don't really suspect that they have bugs, but I'm just gonna check them out anyway. So here we have a Florida Beauty Dracana. I don't know if I say that right, I don't care. And it's currently in flower drop because it did flower. See, it's still got a few happening up here. There you go. They're not very exciting flowers, but all flowers are a little exciting. So, yes. So this is a variety of plant that has like spots on the leaves. See, they're all that's not a disease. That's like how they are. They are all spotted, and when the leaf comes out, it's just lightly spotted, and then they'll darken up as they get older. So I'm just checking. I'm just checking for pests, which you should always be doing, which I should always be doing. I don't see any sign of pest whatsoever on this plant. I don't even see kitty teeth marks. Isn't that amazing? Wow. This plant gets a grade A pass. No borks. Way to go. So, I am going to clean the leaves off though. That is what we're going to do. We're going to clean the leaves. When in doubt, clean the leaves. And for this one, I am going to do the spray on Kleenex method, or spray on paper towel method. There we go. We're just going to give them all little wipes. Happy little wipes. No, this just gets the dust and things off the leaves so that they can photosynthesize better, so they have a nice clear surface to work with. Having dust on the leaves reduces visibility, or reduces photosynthesis by quite a bit actually, if you let it build up enough. Even if you can't necessarily see the dust, it can still affect it quite a bit. So it's good to just go through and give those little wipies. There, Dracana, Florida Beauty, Gold Dust, I think it's called as well. So, excuse me.
And this one is also in a stump pot from the dollar store. I really like stump pots. Stump pot. Okay, that one's good. Two more. These ones are philodendrons. I have two kinds. Um, I think this one is the Roa, like the regular. This one is a Birkin. You can tell by the striped leaves. Ooh, it's flopping. Here, hold on. See those stripies? Um, the newer leaves, you can see it a bit better. They do fade a bit as the leaves age. Like this one, you can barely see any striping now. Um, Again, I don't expect any bugs. I do see some sucking damage on the bottom of these leaves, which again, probably from something that just came and went because I don't see any actual bugs on the plant. Here, I'll show what sucking damage can look like. There, here. Can you see? Try and block the glare. There's like little white dot right there. That's what the sucking damage can look like. Just little dots on the bottom of the leaf. And they can come right through, like, so I can see here, this older leaf has a few spots on it probably from something latching on. And all right, so for these, I am going to just wipe them down again. The leaves are a bit dusty. I haven't done it for a few months. Time sure flies when you're not having fun. These ones like humidity, so I'm giving them a good soaking. Also, I'll have to water them, and I'm gonna have to feed this one because it is coming out with new growth. So this leaf is new, and then also there's another leaf stub coming in right where my finger's tapping. So this one is growing. It's going. I need to be on it. I need to be dealing with it. It needs some fertilizer. It's like ready. It's like, hey, this is close enough to spring. I got stuff to do. Let's go. Let's go. So it'll really appreciate me wiping off its leaves because then it can absorb more sun. Photosynthesis. You know? I'm probably going to find a stick for this one at some point too. They don't get very tall, but they do like to climb. So we'll see what happens. Now the fun fact about these ones is I actually got both of these plants in the same pot by accident. They weren't supposed to be in the same pot, but I guess maybe they'd seeded them or something in the same one by accident. Anyway, it was the only pot there that had the two varieties in it, and it was priced for just one of them. And I was like, well, come on. Yes. So that was like my deal of last summer. I was so happy. I was so happy. Yeah, hoping this year will be really good for the plants because we're not moving around and I have got an okay setup and some of them can actually go outside this year. There's no direct sun, which I've said before. We are facing north and we are in the northern hemisphere, so there's absolutely no direct sun where I am. So, which is good and bad. It's still bright. It's still bright. Like that's the light coming this way. So that's what kind of light we're working with, which is fine. Works for the plants. Yeah. Okay. Wow. Also, these ones are both in drainage. These ones are both in drainage pots. This one has a clay pot inside of a, so I have it in like a bucket, a nice purple. Here, you have to move. I'm sorry. A nice purple bucket, but it's actually a clay pot inside of the bucket. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. See? I just didn't want to use metal directly, although I did with the avocado and it's fine. Wow! So, thank you for joining me for my first ever planter day. Um, Next week, I will be doing more cactuses. Probably a lot of cactuses. So I hope you like cactuses. Yep. And in the meantime, I have to put all these plants back in their spots. And I'm going to be shutting the stream down for the moment, and I'll be back later. So thank you so much, everyone who has joined me, and I will see you in a bit.